Welcome everyone. It's already in, and those of you that are on your way in. We've got a lot of people that are joining, so we're going to wait just a second. So we're about a minute after the hour. I want to respect people's time and get started. We have quite a bit of content for you today. I'd like to welcome everyone to our webinar, SAP GTS E4H versus KYG Trade. I'm Leslie Levy-August, Chief Marketing Officer of KYG Trade. And for those of you who may not know, KYG stands for Know Your Goods. So we're very excited to have you here today and to explore the future of global trade management. I'd like to introduce our panel of speakers. We have Todd R. Smith, our founder and CEO, Jeff Gio, who's our COO and CPTO, Amkar Deshpande from Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, and Jamie Unteed, who's the CEO of Trabex. Before we get into the serious content, let's get a few logistics out of the way, and then we'll get into it. So the presenters invite you to ask questions, so use the Zoom Q&A feature, and to avoid confusion, we've disabled the chat feature today. We'll try to answer as many questions as possible, and we have set time aside at the end to address them. If we don't get to all of them, we will answer them by email within a few days. You are going to get several polls throughout the webinar, so we'd appreciate your participation. We are not going to send the recording automatically to all participants. So if you'd like a copy of the recording, just email me at leslie@kyg.ai, leslie@kyg.ai, and it'll be on the last slide as well. So here's what we have lined up for you today. This is our agenda. We're going to start with an overview of KYG Trade. We're going to follow that with a discussion on the state of GTS, E4H, and why KYG may be a compelling alternative. We're going to have a customer story and then how to get started. And we'll finally wrap up with that Q&A session. So I'm going to dive into a brief overview and about us, who we are and what we do. So we were founded in 2022 with a mission to revolutionize global trade management. And in just a few years, we've grown very rapidly, and we're managing over 2 million items and 21 million tariff and trade attestations to date. Our platform is designed to be enterprise grade, and we have a SaaS solution that can be deployed on public, private, or hybrid clouds. We pride ourselves on fast and easy integrations, and you're going to hear more about that later on in the presentation. And that's whether you're looking to use our system as a standalone solution or integrating it with existing systems. We leverage the Descartes global regulatory content and upgrades for over 160 countries. And I'm sure some of you are familiar with the Descartes content, and we ensure that our clients are always compliant with the latest regulations that way. Additionally, we have technology that's backed by 25 patent claims that cover tariffs, trade, and ESG attestations, which makes us a leader in the field. We have a global network of SAP consultants, which allow us to provide comprehensive support and expertise to our clients. I'm going to talk more about what's in the platform. So we leverage advanced agentic and generative AI to assist with various critical functions. And that includes, as you can see on the slide, HS classification, export jurisdiction and classification, FTA, and origin calculations and qualifications. We also help with AI-assisted SKU level forced labor compliance, ensuring that your supply chain adheres to ethical standards. One of the standout features is our export and import shipment and license management. We'll speak more to that later, including the ability to hold back or block shipments when necessary. We provide real-time regulatory monitoring and change management, keeping you updated with the latest trade regulations and requirements, which is very important these days, particularly, as you know. We can offer broker management, import-export direct filing, and comprehensive record keeping and reporting. Our sanctions and denied party screening feature, enhanced with AI-assisted hit dispositioning, ensures that you remain compliant with international trade laws. Our platform is designed to be very user-friendly, with product data, attributes, and attestations optionally reviewed and approved by a human, ensuring accuracy and compliance. All changes and collaborations are recorded in real time, providing an immutable record for audit and reporting purposes. So let's look at our human in the loop, AI-assisted human in the loop features on this slide. So we do use AI to automate many aspects of trade management, and that includes product data classification and regulatory compliance. But we especially understand that human expertise is crucial for ensuring accuracy and making those nuanced decisions. So we incorporate a human in the loop model, and that's where we have product data, attributes, and the attestations optionally reviewed and approved by a human. So it's a hybrid approach, and this allows us to achieve a high level of automation while maintaining the flexibility to handle complex cases that require human judgment. Users can set specific confidence scores, and they can determine when human intervention is needed. And that ensures that the system operates efficiently without compromising on accuracy. So in essence, our AI plus human in the loop model provides the best of both worlds. You get the speed and the scalability of AI combined with the reliability and expertise of human oversight. So I'm going to talk briefly about the record keeping because it's so important in compliance. And the platform does ensure that all the changes and collaborations are recorded in real time. So you're going to get a comprehensive and immutable audit trail. That includes emails, PDFs, attachments. Everything is stored at the product level. And this feature is crucial in maintaining transparency and accountability across your supply chain. We facilitate seamless internal and external communications, allowing you to track changes and updates to product data just effortlessly. It happens without you even having to be involved. Our system supports scheduled reports and creation of custom reports for system data. It'll make it easy to generate insights and stay compliant with regulatory requirements. So in summary, KYG Trade's record keeping and reporting features provide a secure, transparent, and efficient way to manage your trade data, ensuring that you are always audit ready at the push of a button. So let's talk a little bit more about real-time tariff and trade regulatory monitoring. We continuously monitor changes and updates to trade regulations and requirements, and we flag modifications in real time. This includes updates to HTS codes, duty rates, export control lists, license requirements, rules of origin, and even more than that. We'll cover critical areas such as forced labor laws, sustainability and environmental requirements, sanctions, and restricted party screening. So I want to move on and get into more content about the actual topic here. I'd like to introduce you to our founder and CEO of KYG Trade, Todd R. Smith. He's going to discuss the state of GTM systems and SAP GTS. And Todd, okay, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Leslie, and hello, everyone. I am Todd Smith, founder and CEO of KYG Trade. So let's take a moment to understand the current state of the global trade management or GTM market. The GTM market is experiencing significant growth, projected to expand from 1.2 million in 24 to 2.3 million by 2032. This growth is driven by the increasing complexity of global trade regulations and the need for businesses to stay compliant and efficient. And as we know with our new administration, tariffs happen to be the most beautiful word in the dictionary. So currently 70% of businesses have implemented a GTM system to stay on top of these changing and sometimes chaotic regulations, highlighting the importance of these solutions in managing global trade operations. However, less than 30% of the SAP ERP ecosystem, let's say, have migrated to S4 HANA, indicating a substantial opportunity for modernization and improvement. Now let's delve deeper into why upgrading SAP GTS is essential and the options available for tariff and trade management. So legacy SAP GTS 11.0 and later will reach the end of mainstream maintenance on December 31st of this year. This means that support and updates will no longer be available, posing significant risk to compliance and operational efficiency. Approximately 3,000 GTS customers need to upgrade to SAP GTS Edition for SAP HANA 2023, that's a mouthful, or E4H for short, to ensure that they remain compliant and benefit from the latest functionalities. But the upgrade to E4H involves significant changes, including new features and a shift to the HANA platform. This transition is very complex, requiring careful planning and skilled specialists who are currently in high demand, but limited in availability. Moreover, the upgrade process includes converting existing licenses, which can be intricate and costly. Developing a solid business case will be essential to justify the upgrade, considering the cost, benefits, and strategic alignment with your business goals. In summary, upgrading to E4H is not just about staying compliant, it's about leveraging new capabilities to enhance your trade management processes. Now let's explore the options available for tariff and trade management. There are numerous providers of global trade management systems, each offering unique capabilities. Some of the leading end-to-end GTM systems include SAP, MIC, E2Open, Thomson Reuters OneSource, QAD, Oracle, and Descartes. These companies provide comprehensive solutions designed to manage the complexity of moving products cross-border and technology, and managing global trade. However, the legacy systems often operate on older architectures, requiring manual updates and significant IT involvement. They can be costly to implement and upgrade with high deployment times and minimal automation. As I mentioned, legacy GTM systems are often built on outdated architectures. They do require manual integration and updates, which can be time-consuming and prone to errors. These systems offer minimal out-of-the-box features, leading to higher operational costs and longer deployment times. Additionally, they are typically user seat and license-based, making them expensive to scale. In contrast, next-generation GTM systems represent a significant leap forward. They provide real-time regulatory updates and support hybrid multi-cloud environments, whether private or public. These modern solutions are designed to be API-friendly, allowing for seamless integration with multiple systems. They offer fast deployment and minimal infrastructure requirements, making them more cost-effective and easier to implement. Next-gen GTM support a wide range of users, from individual trade law practitioners to the largest of global enterprises. At KYG in particular, our founders and C-level team have over 60 combined years of global tariff and trade consulting experience. So we are built by trade compliance professionals for trade compliance professionals. And the evolution from traditional GTM systems to modern SaaS solutions is clear. Next-gen GTMs offer greater flexibility, efficiency, and compliance capabilities, making them the preferred choice for businesses looking to stay ahead in global trade management. So now let's try to move on to how KYG Trade exemplifies these next-gen capabilities with Jeff Gio, our Chief Operating and Product Officer. Jeff, over to you.
Todd. So KYG has an extensive set of open documented JSON APIs that have been battle tested with numerous SAP integrations as well as many other ERP systems. Our API integrations are designed to be flexible and robust, and we support a wide range of endpoints that really fit into the business process, both within the SAP ecosystem and around it, allowing for smooth data flow between systems and a proactive management of your compliance posture around your products and ultimately your transactional systems. So we'll compare our API capabilities with SAP RFC integrations and highlight the benefits of our approach. So all of our customers have noted that even with migration to E4H and S4 HANA, there's significant integration work required and likely even more complex than this picture. And actually, we'll look at that a little later with Omkar in a customer case study where we really get a full picture of the reality of your enterprises and the type of integrations that are actually required. If only it were this clean. But our library of inputs have really enabled our customers to streamline their integration of our advanced capabilities while reducing complexity of other SAP to SAP integrations or other non-SAP systems in the ecosystem. If you go to slide 17, thanks. So
Did we lose you?
No, I'm here. All right. Too many screens jumping around. Sorry. So
Yeah.
our solution really allows you to turbocharge your SAP implementation, including your GTS implementation, with that advanced agentic and generative AI capabilities that KYG provides with virtually no setup and minimum configurations, which is a key capability. At a certain level, you may think it's an apples to apples comparison, but leveraging our AI, we're able to assess and make determinations for not only import and export classifications, but also qualification for free trade agreements, identification of non-preferential country of origin, as well as forced labor, risk and incident management, and an array of, and I saw a question in the Q&A, an array of admissibility type requirements that are attached to the HTS codes, as well as licensing capabilities for export controls. So one of the, I'm sorry, Todd, just go back one and just want to highlight that the way our APIs are structured, we can augment that GTS implementation and integration in a very much of a bolt-on way using the standard practices. And we've seen our customers very quickly implement the integration and keep GTS hydrated with the compliance data from KYG Trade. So let's move on to a customer success story. I'd like to introduce Omkar Deshpande from Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. And Omkar, if you'd share your experience and your success story with how you've worked with KYG Trade and our platform to date.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jeff and Todd. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you great.
Sure. So yeah, we have a very we had, like, I would say, a 25 years old legacy system for one of the product classification engine, that HPE homegrown application, and we recently migrated it to the KYG platform, and we had a great experience working with these expertise and the way KYG worked with the entire integration. That was really commanding. We uh, because it's a very old technology, so getting out of old ecosystem and get used to the newer mechanism like API based mechanism was a challenge for HPE side. But given that challenges, I think we could complete the project probably 8 to 9 months time span. with thousands of use cases and test cases and regressions rounds. So we moved to the Azure cloud managed hosting environment with KYG is hosting for us. We have around 8 to 9 million products which requires the HS classification and ECC and classification across the 140 countries across the board. So with that, the active, 2.5 to 3 million parts were classified as an initialization, and then it is growing now. So we have another phase coming in with KYG to have one of the configure to order scenarios, which are a little complex in make to order cycles. So KYG is definitely helping us out for that. We had a seamless SSO integration. There was no orchestration issues for the API calls, which are in millions in numbers. KYG team really educated us also because we wanted to understand this from the IT background. So yeah, thanks to the entire KYG team, and we are looking forward.
Yeah, thank you, Omkar. I think you had also wanted to say something about the content curation and transformation and how that's helping out your team.
Absolutely. So many of the clients, I'm sure, will have similar type of a challenge that HPE went through, because we have multiple data providers who are providing data, and it's a different integration platforms we have to go through. A lot of middlewares involved. So migrating all those data providers which are catering the data for classification and HS codes, which is coming into an ERP. So we are on the ERP GTS ERP system, where this data is hosted, and then we make use of it. But instead of that, we could have our single line of integration to KYG platform, and it was very seamless. It was not even a big route that we had to take, because KYG showed us some greater techniques, which is a new age technologies that I would say, to connect all these vendors and all these data providers in like in one highway with multiple lanes to KYG. And we could achieve that, which we of course did not have this kind of a capability earlier. So response times are cutting down almost 50 to 60% down, where we are having a very faster response. Business is very super happy with this responses, like, the way KYG engine is working. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Omkar. It's been a pleasure, and we're excited about the ongoing work there. So, just to bring some real world complexities and looking at the participants in today's webinar, many of you like HPE and like customers like this, have evolved your ERP systems and the systems that touch data or create data or capture data from your global trade activities over decades. And it's not with acquisitions or mergers or different changes in the business. Many of you find yourselves in a very complex world of upstream and downstream integrations. And in our initial implementation with HPE, we captured dozens of upstream and downstream integration touch points that were necessary. And as you really look at a full GTS implementation, it includes scores, if not hundreds, of integrations when you start to peel back the enterprise onion. And we have a very tightly consolidated set of interfaces that make that even easier, and an enterprise service bus approach that we've implemented with other customers as well, that really can take a lot of the lift out of the type of migrations that you may be faced with here, where we can drop right into existing migrations. And we implemented a lift and shift in the first phase with HPE, and then now really being able to optimize and expand the integrations to even further streamline the global trade business is what we support with the API set and the integration service bus that we work with several of our customers. Todd, back to you.
Yeah, thank you. So we're gonna shift a little bit. We've been talking about our excuse me, these pop-ups keep coming in and getting in the way of our, I don't know if you guys are seeing it, but it's coming up on my screen. So some of the areas that we've already covered, in our presentation are out-of-the-box solutions for Item Master and other trade programs that you see on the slide here. We also have a very rich trade corpus for doing research, cross rulings, the regulations, explanatory notes, all within the app. But we also, have our shipments module. If I can advance the slide. There we go. Which is designed to streamline and enhance your export and import shipment management through seamless third-party integrations with certified partners like Trabex, who we're going to hear about in just a minute. So this module offers a comprehensive suite of features to ensure efficient and compliant shipment processes. Key features include comprehensive management of export and import licenses, generation of customs invoices for both imports and exports, restricted parties, embargoes, and sanctions screening, including AI dispositioning of hits, self-filing of ISF, customs, and AES declarations. So by leveraging these features, our shipments module ensures that your export and import processes are efficient, compliant, and seamlessly integrated in a single window via KYG Trade and with access and integration to your SAP ecosystem. So Leslie, over to you for more about the shipments module.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. I'm just going to jump in here and give a little more context around who I'm introducing, and that's Jamie Unteed. She's the CEO of Trabex, and she is going to discuss in detail our screening and shipment management solutions, which is an integration between Trabex and KYG Trade. And what's important about that is that we select these partners, we integrate with these partners through a very rigorous selection process. And so they become certified partners where not only are they integrated into the KYG Trade platform, but Trabex, and through Jamie's leadership, has a very, very high level of customer service that matches what KYG Trade aspires to. So with that, Jamie, I'll let you take it from there.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you having me here to speak. This is a really important topic and one of those that we've been watching for many years, knowing that this event would occur in the world where we would have the opportunity to say, you know what, there are alternatives. And I love that we in partnership can really pull together all these microservice capability that we can build to amalgamate what each of these individual attendees might need in their program. So at Trabex, we've been doing this for over 30 years, and we process over 12 billion in annual revenue shipments. That's just our exports. So we're moving a lot of goods. We have, as they mentioned earlier, we're all battle tested. We've been doing this a while. We know the potholes you're going to fall into, and we know how to adapt to this changing landscape. So when we have the opportunity to talk about this scenario of we have SAP GTS, and it's been great in the past, maybe you need it, maybe you're looking for alternatives, that's where we get really excited, because we can start to decouple what that looks like and say, okay, what if we looked at it like this? And we can hop into some of these slides real quick. So we look at things, every export is an import. So there are a lot of similarities with this and functions that we can reuse, but then in some cases, these need to be completely disparate scenarios. So at the end of the day, everybody's got to get a shipment out the door, or get it downloaded, or get it to wherever it needs to go, out of their hands and compliantly into the hands of their buyer. And so there is a whole choose your own adventure to accommodate the process of your company's risk management. And so what does that look like? You know, we've got data in. So somewhere you had people that came together over a set of product data, and you came to an agreement. And now this has to get out the door. So we have to get all that data looked at. it can be time consuming, and these things may not all happen in the order that is the most efficient for business. And that's one of the fun things about trade compliance. So that's where our choose your own adventure comes in. We look at that data as it becomes available and we process that in as real time as possible. We screen the parties early and often so that you're not wasting any time on a shipment that you're not going to follow through with anyways, because you have some party restriction. So we like to pull those things in early and often. KYG processes your products in advance. So when you have that taken care of, you already know what you're showing up to the table with that. So when you get to shipment management, the point is get that data in, have all the check boxes, have the audit trail, log everything, screen everything again, and then document all of that for posterity. You need your documentation to be exported at the end. It all needs to be consistent with that shipment data, that single source of shipment data. And that single source of shipment data also needs to go to the US government for exports and elsewhere for your imports. So along that whole path, we try to get that process driven down as quickly as possible. There are places where you will need a human in the loop, where your business says that. And there are other businesses that say, nope, I want this to be as seamless as possible. I want a green light at the end of the day. I'm going to send you data, email me my documents, and I'm out. And so because of that, we have a highly configurable process that makes this 1,000 products to 1,000 customers. So rather than saying, here's SAP and the RFCs you have available to connect with these sources, that is very highly siloed for you, you now can choose your own adventure. So in a lot of these cases, you don't need 20 RFCs of connections of integrations, and you can really combine those into maybe one integration. So it allows you to look at your process and say, does this really make sense for what we're doing and what's happening in real life? So what's next? Screening. Screening is another part that can often take a lot of time, and we've put a lot of energy into our algorithm. We have a proprietary algorithm that we work in partnership with KYG for their smart screen capability atop that. So where we do the initial screen and we have algorithm tailoring that will allow you to reduce your hit rate to where you're comfortable. Some people say, I want to see all the results. I want to see everything and I want to make the determination. And that's great when you have a lower volume. Other people say, I need relevant results and as few of those as possible. So that's where we tailor the algorithm to have, excluded words and your similarity threshold to rip out your noise floor. When we get those down to auto-resolved results, we say, okay, is this a tolerable amount of screenings for you to handle? And if the answer is no, we can apply Smart Screen that will then make those determinations on those screenings so that we're only passing you the ones that are things that you should absolutely be looking at. And of course, we always say audit these programs. That's the name of the game, but your boots on the ground work at the time of shipment can be driven down dramatically through all of these processes that we can apply to our algorithms to make those work better for you. And when you're looking at millions of screenings, that can be a lot of time really quickly. And so where a lot of you are doing your continuous screening overnight because it takes 8 hours to get through it, we can spawn out 1,000 concurrent nodes and get millions of screenings done in 15 minutes. So you're able to really look at this. And if you piece together how much you can do in addition, if you're taking 8 hours and reducing it to 15 minutes, what else can you save time on? And so I think that's a really important conversation to have for any program. And that's just the screening conversation. So let's go to the next slide. All right.
Okay, so well, thank you very much, Jamie. I mean, one of the I think compelling aspects of the smart screen is that we in the industry that tune the screening models to a certain extent. There's a built-in bias to really, on the one hand, try to reduce the number of hits as closely as we can, without missing and creating a bunch of false negatives. And so, there's that tension between how we open up and loosen the algorithm. So actually more is coming through. So by opening up, you're actually able to feel better that you're capturing more possible hits to avoid, the false negatives. But now adding that layer of the AI dispositioning on that larger set, in fact, could still nevertheless result in a fewer number of hits that the humans have to disposition. So it really is a win-win from that standpoint. Okay, so everybody, thank you for staying with us. Let's wrap up with a quick comparison between E4H and KYG Trade. KYG Trade offers out-of-the-box AI-assisted features for global trade classification, jurisdiction and classification, preferential origin determination, and forced labor risk. So these capabilities are either limited and require significant configurations, content curation, as you heard from Omkar, and customizations, or non-existent in the case of UFLPA compliance. So out of the box, KYG provides daily updates to global tariff and export control schedules, comprehensive workflows, automations, and immutable record keeping. Additionally, KYG Trade supports AI-assisted restricted party screening and sanction screening, as you just heard, whereas SAP solution lacks those AI features and functionality, at least for the time being. So as you saw earlier, our hybrid deployment model supports both internal and external endpoints, allowing seamless connections with non-SAP PLM systems and external supplier product websites. So by leveraging KYG's AI-driven technology, businesses can achieve faster, more accurate tariffs and trade compliance management, significantly reducing the burden on internal resources and enhancing overall operational efficiency. So in summary, KYG Trade not only complements, but significantly extends the capabilities of E4H, providing a modern AI-powered solution for today's complex trade environment. Now, given the end-to-end range of capabilities, and with the exception of supporting FTZs, bonded warehouses, inward and outward processing, and processing under customs controls in China, our feature set and integration partners stack up quite favorably to E4H, and therefore KYG does present itself as a viable GTS replacement solution. SAP GTS E4H relies on the SAP Fiori for its user interface. While SAP Fiori has been a reliable interface, it's starting to show its age. So the design and functionality can feel a bit outdated and not as intuitive as modern users expect. This can actually lead to a steeper learning curve and potentially slower adoption rates among users. The interface may not fully leverage the latest advancements in user experience design, which can impact overall efficiency and user satisfaction. In contrast, the intuitive design of KYG Trade enhances end-user satisfaction by streamlining workflows and making complex tasks simpler to execute. Users can quickly access the information they need and perform their duties more efficiently, leading to higher productivity and overall satisfaction. In summary, KYG Trade's modern Web 3.0 architecture and some of the most current trends and standards in UI design provides a superior user experience that is easy to use, quick to learn, and highly satisfying for end users. So when considering the transition to E4H, the time, the effort, and cost involved are significantly higher compared to KYG Trade. Implementing E4H can easily take over 12 months, often extending 2 to 3 years. This process demands a high level of effort involving systems integrators, internal technical support, and project managers to ensure a successful migration. The cost associated with E4H is also substantial, ranging from $250,000 for smaller implementations to several $1 million, as I'm sure some of you know, for large enterprises. This includes licensing costs, implementation, and ongoing maintenance. In contrast, KYG Trade offers a more streamlined and cost-effective solution. Our implementation time is less than a year, thanks to pre-chain models, automation, and seamless API integrations. The effort required is medium to low, with minimal internal resources needed, as our expert team and our third-party certified implementation partners, which we love, provide comprehensive support. Cost-wise, KYG Trade offers tiered pricing, making it more affordable while still delivering robust enterprise functionality and support. So in summary, KYG Trade provides a faster, easier, and more cost-effective alternative to E4H, ensuring a smoother transition and greater value for your investment. So here's an example of the E4H implementation, typical E4H implementation journey, which typically spans over 1 year, starting with planning, followed by building and customizing the system, which includes all of that custom code, adaptation, because there isn't a simple push a button and all that custom code gets updated to E4H. No, it's really starting over for that custom code adaptation. But then we got the testing, the running, the sustaining, and finally getting to the point of retiring your GTS legacy system. As you can see, KYG Trade offers a shorter, more efficient implementation process, primarily from the build phase, with less time spent on regulatory content curation and transformations, and minimal customizations, allowing customers to go live and retire their legacy GTS 4 to 6 months faster. So by choosing KYG Trade, customers can achieve not only lower implementation costs, but also minimize ongoing maintenance costs, resulting in a higher ROI. In summary, KYG Trade enables customers to retire their legacy GTS systems sooner, thanks to our streamlined implementation process and robust out-of-the-box features. So Leslie, back to you for Q&A. And I guess there's another polling.
Yeah, there may be one more poll that pops up, but before we get to that, we've got time, and we've answered some of the questions in the Q&A in written form, but I think it's worth repeating them. There's not a huge number. There's 5 questions in here that have been answered and 5 that are still open. And anybody that wants to post a question, please feel free to go into the Q&A and do that. And then this will also give our panel a chance to add some color to some of these answers as I read them. So the first question was, I saw mention of AD CVD. What about management of other PGA required information triggered by HTS? I don't know, Todd, if you want to answer a little more robustly than what's in the chat, in the Q&A.
I'm actually looking at the open questions. I'm not sure if this was the same one. I don't know if I should click answer live or just, answer the question.
You can read the open ones and answer them if you want.
Yeah. So the question was, when the new aluminum extrusion AD CVD investigation started and duties began to be collected. Just bumped around for imports. What did the alert from KYG systems look like? So the way we alert is we would identify items in your item master that are classified under the HS code that falls under the order, and you would get an alert and a notification that would say that classification for the US is now suspect because of this order, and this suspect notified classification for the US would show up in a work queue that you would then, the human, would then be able to go in and do research and find out if in fact your product is within that scope order using our trade corpus research that we spoke about earlier. So that's how that would work, and we can show you that during a demo. So we encourage you to reach out to us and schedule a demo so we can show you that. Jeff, are there any in here you want to take a stab at?
I'll pick up the next one, which is what AI data securities are in place to protect access to controlled technology needed to determine HTS or ECCN USML classifications. So we have a few different options, but underneath it all, we are compliant with ISO 27001 and 277001. We're also compliant with the ISO qualifications for data security around AI. So we're taking those standards very seriously and then implement them throughout our organization. We also provide for segmentation of sensitive data that may fall under a controlled export classification, as an example, including geographic partitioning of data, where if you're operating globally and you're operating with sensitive data in different locations, we can ensure that the data stays in place in the geography where it's controlled. And flag anything that needs to move as an export and put it under export control. And we also are able to run our AI services in a private cloud implementation that is not exposed to the LLMs and the OpenAI and other generative AI models that may be in use.
Yeah, we have another question on CMMC certification. So right now, we are not certified for sensitive classified information. We do support non-sensitive classified information under the ITAR, what we define as technical information. We do support those types of environments. There was a question about supporting, I don't know if it says, do you service in Hebrew? So we do not, our database and our microservices, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they support Hebrew characters, but our front end, our UI, can be presented in Hebrew. And in terms of our AI services, like if we receive shipment documents with Hebrew, we can translate those, but I don't think we store Hebrew characters in our database.
We do support, we can actually, and we do support the native language presentation layer on that data, and it can be stored natively as well.
Ah, good news. Is your system US centric, or can it be used to manage global compliance programs in Europe, Middle East, Africa, APAC? The answer is yes. We license content for over 160 countries, tariff schedules. We support all the major export control schedules and regulations and free trade agreements and rules of origin globally, provided Descartes supports and provides that information. So our content provider, as we said earlier, is Descartes. And as long as they cover those lists and those regulations and those free trade agreements, then they're in our system. So that definitely is global. And you heard from Omkar say that we're classifying right now for both import and export dual use in I think you mentioned over 40 countries. We have a question: what solution comes from this tool to get metrics and KPIs? Jeff, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So we do have an operational data view of the system that is more optimized for you to plug in your business intelligence tools, your Tableau, or export that data into other analytics and decision-making tools. And that data set is what is often used by our customers to get their quality metrics and their performance metrics of the usage of the system. We also have an advanced search user interface that any user authorized can use that gives robust access to all the attributes related to the activity and the outcomes and the inputs to the system. So those can be configured for customer-specific reports and even user-specific reports. And we also find our customers using those as well for their quality and performance metrics.
Yeah, and I wanted to go also, I saw that Jamie answered a question in the chat, but there was a question regarding integrations into EGRC IAM tools. So yeah, we do integrate into those tools. Also, we mentioned PLMs where the bill of material lives, material master. We can ingest, and our AI can read images, schematics, any kind of PDF or image can be read in by our AI, and we do support classifications for technology, for control technology, not just physical items. We can then, of course, flag those items as controlled, and based on our permissioning, restrict non-U.S. persons if the case may be from accessing that technology.
See, Jim is typing an answer to the last question. Jamie, do you want to pop in and talk about the different sources? I guess you may have finished typing it, but
Oh,
it may be worth
absolutely.
topping in lag, talk about the different sources that are available.
Right, yeah, and there's the world is full of data, which is brilliant for us. But the bare minimum, of course, everybody knows about Descartes data. We all know where that is. It's a good baseline, so we have to have it. So that's data that we source. We get raw data from them. We also pull in other data sources. We allow you also to manage your own private list, if you will. So if you have people that your business decides is risky, or you've done business with them before, or there are certain limitations to the type of business you want to do with them, you can manage them in your own list. We can also pull in Caron data, Dow Jones data. They just have different contracting requirements. So that's just a little bit more of a conversation. But any data that you need to source in for screening purposes or other workflow purposes can be easily pulled in. It was purpose built to be configurable on onboarding to do that for you, because everybody has different needs there. But the algorithm for our screening is 100% Trabex proprietary. So we manage the workflows, we make adjustments to it, and we make sure that it is adaptable to your needs.
Yeah, so I think that's about it for the questions, Leslie.
I just wanted to highlight one question that that was answered in the Q&A box, but it might relate to other people who were on the webinar, and that is that you don't have to be an SAP customer or an SAP user or even have a global trade management system to use KYG Trade. So this webinar was a lot about that relationship between KYG Trade as an extension or an enhancement or a hybrid approach or an alternative to, but you don't have to have SAP at all if you wanted to stand up an instance of KYG Trade and the integration with Trabex. So just wanted to clarify that. Todd, anything, or Jeff, any, or Jamie, Amkar, any last comments? Any other questions from the audience?
I would just say, if you're in the boat of facing the end of your maintenance agreement on GTS 11, or God forbid, or hopefully earlier, not earlier, right? Just know that there is an alternative out there, and some of our clients are wanting to stand up KYG Trade even while they're going through the migration, because they're afraid there may be some disruption, or they need capabilities and they can't wait the 2 to 3 years before that's done. So we are serving as that solution as well, that will then plug in once whatever capabilities they're implementing on E4H become live. Regardless of where you are, next steps, for us to engage with you would be to schedule a free discovery call. As you see on the slide here, we would spend maybe 30 to 45 minutes just understanding your fact pattern, your particular needs, because everybody has very unique particular needs. We're very flexible. We're aware of that. So we'll listen, to what your needs are. And then what we'll do is we'll come back and we'll schedule a demo and show you how you can solve, those needs through our platform. So scan the QR code or send an email to Leslie or Eric, and we'll get you set up for a discovery call.
And just in closing, reminder that we're not going to automatically send the recording of this webinar to everybody who was registered. But if you would like a copy, just email me at leslie@kygtrade.ai. It's there on the screen, and I'll be happy to respond. Thank you all for being here today. We really appreciate your participation and look forward to inviting you to upcoming webinars by KYG Trade.
Thank
Have
you,
a great
everybody.
rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.